If you guys have been following my channel at TheatricallyJerry, you will know that this is part 2 of our 3-part series on the BECEN 400W BSW, so beam spot wash. This is a 3-in-1 fixture. This is one of their more professional fixtures that they offer. It has a 400-watt LED engine built into it, so this is an extremely bright fixture. It's also an extremely heavy fixture. If you watched part 1, you'll see that this is a 50-pound light fixture, and it's also over 2 feet tall, so this is a rather powerful and robust fixture. And I say robust because, as stated, it's a 3-in-1, which means it is doing the job of 3 different light fixtures in one. So it saves you time and money to buy these instead of 3 different light fixtures. The only drawback is they cost a lot more money, so they're not cheap. Anyways, I'm going to stop rambling and we're going to go on to part 2 of this in-depth review. So for part 2, I want to show you guys how this operates. So we're going to go ahead and turn it on with the rocker switch in the back. But before we do that, I do have to tell you guys that there are 2 stoppers on here, and these stop the light fixture from moving. And I don't recommend turning this on until those are obviously disengaged. So now that's disengaged. That is for your tilt, and this is for your pan. And these switches are very easy to disengage and also engage, and they come on higher end light fixtures. It keeps the fixture from moving around when it's in its flight case, and to protect the engine and motors from getting bumped around and destroyed, basically their belts. But anyways, we're gonna go ahead and turn this on because I know that's what you guys want to see. So I'm gonna go ahead and go around back here and hit the rocker switch. That turns the light fixture on. And something interesting to note is on the touch screen, it is showing you every single program it's going through to check itself. It will reset things it needs to reset. It will check if things are working properly, and if not, it will throw an error code, and it tells you it's resetting, power on reset, and it also gives you the amount of time it's taking for it to reset itself. And it goes through a lot. It goes through every single prism, every single gobo wheel, every single zoom and effect that has built in. It goes through all of the motors. There's a lot of motors in this light fixture, and it also, like I said, self-diagnoses itself. So here is your main screen. This is your user interface. It's a pretty clean, easy to follow user interface. And as you can see, it just went into its screensaver mode. And there are 3 different screensaver modes. I like this one because it tells me what this particular fixture is, a 3-in-1. It also tells me the DMX address, which I set remotely with RDM from my console. And it will also tell you if the DMX is working or not, and right now it's not because I do not have a DMX cable plugged in for this review. It wasn't necessary. If you want to get out of this screensaver, you just press it because it's a touch screen. Up at the top it says 3-in-1 BSW Move Head. BSW meaning a beam spot wash. That's why it's a 3-in-1. Down here at the bottom in red flashing is your DMX address, and in this case it is 182, which is what I have it set to. 26C is the temperature of the lamp itself, so it's reading in Celsius. Unfortunately, you can't get it to read in Fahrenheit. So for people here in America that like Fahrenheit, you're gonna have to learn Celsius too, which I recommend learning because I love learning everything. There is a little light bulb icon. It is black right now, meaning the lamp is not on. Go figure. Nor means normal, and that's a good thing. That means your fixture is running normal. And it is accepting 100% of DMX codes right now, according to it. So there's no dropouts. That's for like connection fidelity from a DMX standpoint. I'm gonna go ahead and zoom in a little closer to the touchscreen menu because this is extremely important, and since this is an in-depth review, I want to go ahead and show you guys everything. So we're going to go through the user interface on here, and we're going to do that right now. All right, so now that we have a better look at the touchscreen, we're going to go ahead and go through most of the menu options. So as you can see right here, here are your sub menus. There's address on the left, mode, and display. And over here on the right is scene. Sorry, my hand's getting in the way there, but scene, advanced, and status. And, oh, it's wanting to go out again. Let's see. All right, you can see that better. 182 is obviously the address I set for this fixture. It is running in 26 channel mode, which it tells you down here. This has a 22 and a 26 for its modes. I like 26 because it has more features and options. It also tells you, I'm assuming the software version, not really sure. Or actually, it might also be the total amount of time the fixtures ran for, because right below it is showing you how long the fixture is currently running for. So this might be its total time, runtime. I'm not 100% positive about that. But anyways, we're going to go ahead and show you guys some sub-menus. We're going to hit address. When you hit address, it's going to pop up this main address menu. And the first option is setting, obviously, your DMX channel. You also have a system reset button here, so you can actually reset the whole system where it goes through all of its checks again. On the left of this user interface is more submenus for under address. So we have a submenu called work mode. And work mode has several options, one being DMX control, which is what I have selected. You can also select auto run, which I'm going to do in a little while to show you guys what this fixture looks like running. You also have a sound control mode, a scene mode. So when you're in auto run, if you go down to scene mode, this has 10 plus different scene modes it will run automatically, and you can choose them. I'm on, obviously, scene mode 2. As stated earlier, master and slave, you can choose it, or you can just set it to auto. It will choose itself. So I have it set to auto. Why not? The display is what you're seeing right now. English or Chinese for your language. Screensaver, there's 3 different modes. I'm in mode 3. Screen rotation is auto. It has a sensor in it, and it knows if the fixture is flipped upside down, so it will automatically flip your screen as well, which I love. DMX indicate is for your DMX indicate light. There's 3 different modes. for the blue light on your DMX, I have it set to mode 1, and mode 1 will light up blue if it's getting a DMX signal, which right now it's not. You can also set the brightness of the DMX light as well as the backlight of the touchscreen. So those are two options right there. Touch enable is on. You can disable the touch if you prefer physical buttons, or you can use both. Touch rectify is a funny way of them saying that you can calibrate the touch screen, which you don't really need to do unless you do need to do it. Here is a scene mode. I had discussed this in part 1. The scene mode is built into this light fixture, and you can select different scenes that you program yourself. Right now it's on scene 1. You can go through every single channel and program how you want this light to look for that specific scene, and then you can recall it later on to run with the fixture. So you can actually you can control all 26 channels of this fixture on the touchscreen. And then of course it will record it as a scene, like I said, and you can run scenes on here. And I do believe it can store over 10 scenes, so you can do like your own custom scenes. As you can see, I have a couple already set up, which when you turn this into DMX mode, it automatically overrides anything going on in this menu. So I'm in DMX mode, so it doesn't care what these are set to, but I'm going to reset them back to 0. The next menu is advanced, and advanced has your pan and tilt invert, so you can actually invert the pan and tilt, which is pretty standard for a light fixture. You have your pan and tilt rectify, and that is the same as a pan and tilt calibration. This fixture will automatically calibrate itself if you have this setting on, so if it ever goes out of whack, it will recalibrate itself. Love it. Your pan and tilt offset, they're at 10 from factory default, so I just leave that. Data hold is interesting. It's off right now, but if you select data hold, it's going to tell the fixture how to act when a power outage goes out or it loses DMX signal. It will either go back to its default values, or it will hold the last data sent to it from your console or DMX light controller. I have it set to off because I don't really need it. There's factory setting, which will set it back to factory default, the entire light fixture. Don't really want that. Status. So status is going to show your stepper info, and stepper is a short word for stepper motor, and there's a lot of stepper motors in here. But it shows you every single motor and it names it. So there's your pan motor. It is running as normal. Your tilt, normal. Gobo 1, normal. Gobo 2, normal. Gobo rotation, normal. These should all read as normal. My frost motor, normal. Everything should be normal. There shouldn't be any errors on this, so we're going to go ahead and exit out of that. Error logging. No errors. This is going to log any error the fixture runs into. It is just another easy way for you to troubleshoot problems with this fixture. You see it on more high-end fixtures. Fixture status. My communication's at 100%. My error count is 1. This also shows you light temp, panel temp, sensor 1 temp, sensor 2 temp. So this has 2 temperature sensors inside of it. One is obviously for the lamp and one is for the motherboard. It also has a temperature sensor for the panel, so the touchscreen, which is great. Version is going to tell you your fixture version, but this is also what you see when you use RDM. So when you use RDM on your light console, it will pull this up, manufacturer, beam spot, but this manufacturer is BECEN. This particular fixture is spread out between several manufacturers, so that's why it just says beam spot. The device is a 3-in-1 beam, spot, and wash moving head. Model is LED 400. That's telling you it has a 400-watt LED engine. This is the panel software, so it's telling you what the software is. This is the software for the main control board. Tells you the software version info. I guess that's for if it ever gets updated, which I'm hoping BECEN decides to do at some point, especially with that dimmer curve, because it's not great. Light time. So this tells you how long the fixture's been running for, and it also gives you a total time. So it's been running for 10 minutes and 37 seconds since I've gotten it, and its total time from the factory and from what I've ran it on is 29 minutes and 6 seconds. So that tells you total fixture time, and your light time is great for looking to tell if you need to clean your filters, for example. Your light time can tell you how long you've been running it since your last filter cleaning or lens cleaning, any sort of maintenance, obviously. The last one is escape, which is pretty self-explanatory. It will escape itself. So those are all the submenus, and those submenus are also these menus, so we don't actually have to go through all these because we already went through them. I'm making sure I'm thorough and that we looked at everything, and I believe that we did. So we're going to go ahead and let this run in a scene mode, obviously standalone, so you guys can kind of see how it moves, different various lights, the colors it has, the gobos, the effects, etc. I'm going to let it run in auto mode so you guys can watch that, and we're going to go ahead and cut over to that. I'm going to go ahead and set this into scene mode by hitting scene. Make sure I have everything where I want it, which I do. So now we're going to go to work mode, and we're just going to hit auto run, and I'm going to let this auto run so you guys can kind of see what this fixture can do. Also, to give you an idea of how loud the fixture is, obviously it's running right now. Okay, and now we're going to go ahead and cut and take a look at the patterns and stuff, because you're not going to be able to see them unless I shine it onto a flat surface, obviously. So let's go ahead and cut and take a look at those. Alright guys, so we're going to kind of look at some of the different things this light fixture can do. I have it pan and tilted onto the wall directly in front of it in my bedroom. And I don't have a whole lot of real estate to work with, so this is as good as it's going to get for inside of my bedroom studio. But anyways, let's go ahead and go through colors. So that's obviously open, which is its white color. This is red, and you're not going to notice it too well because I have the dimmer set so low. So we're gonna ramp up my dimmer here. So there's a red, the built-in red. Now these are coming off the color wheel, not the cyan, magenta, and yellow wheel. This is a built-in color, and here's another one. It's a really nice, almost amber-ish yellow color. And here's a blue. There's your green. Here is a solid yellow color. Here's a fun, like, bubblegum pink color. This one I would call turquoise or aquamarine built into it. Here is a magenta pink. Here are your half colors on the color wheel. So you have a red and open. You have a yellowish, orangish amber. I'm not really sure what that color is. It's not it's definitely not amber, but it's not yellow or orange. That's mixed with red. Here is the blue and the yellowish orange color, amber. Blue and green, always a nice combo. Yellow and green. Pink and yellow. I actually like those two colors together. They look great. And so do these two colors. So the colors that they picked definitely complement each other for the split wheel. The split colors on the wheel. So we have turquoise and pink. It's like a bubblegum pink. It's a very fun pink. And magenta and turquoise also complement each other. They look great. This is a tan color and magenta. It's a very interesting color. Can't really explain it, but it's very tan looking. And here is obviously your color scroll. For doing rainbows and such. You can also slow it down, obviously, your color scroll. And you can obviously make it go in the other direction as well. So clockwise and counterclockwise, like I had mentioned. So those are your colors. Here is CTO, which are the colors that affect the white light. So it's basically going to cycle through all of them, but all these colors are to complement human skin tones. And it does quite a good job of it, and it gets pretty deep as far as warmth goes. That's the deepest right there. and then it just gets lighter and lighter from there. But definitely great, especially if you want to use this as a follow spot to light up your actors. It will complement their skin tone. This is cyan, and it is capable of going from no cyan to straight up cyan. And here is magenta. Magenta looks great on this light fixture. It's a very deep magenta. Yellow also looks great. Cyan, magenta, and yellow are part of the CMY color space, not RGB. So there are some colors you're not going to be able to get with them. But there are actually a lot of colors that you can't get with RGB that you can get with a CMY color space. So it's great to have that. And you usually see the CMY on fixtures that have brighter LED light sources because they don't have dedicated red, green, and blue LED lights that are bright enough to compete with just a solid white LED, especially at 400 watts. Alright, and we're going to go ahead and check out Gobo next. This one's obviously open. We're going to have to focus this light because it's not focused. And this is an electronic linear focus system, so now I have it focused on the surface, which is something you have to do in order to be able to see your gobos, or otherwise they just show up as blurry circular blobs. So anyways, this is Gobo 2, which is a medium-sized circle. Gobo 1 was open, which is the biggest circle you can get. There's the one of the built-in Gobo patterns. Here's another one. They do have some pretty cool patterns. I call this one an asterisk. I like the look of it. This one I call stylized sun. Got 4 dots. Oop, getting ahead of myself there. This is a flower gobo. I call this one double boomerangs, because that's what it looks like to me. So those are all your fixed ones, your fixed gobos. And they, of course, also do shaking. And you can variate the speed of the shaking. And then, of course, they can also cycle through all of the fixed gobos on the wheel. And you can also variate the speed at which it cycles through them. I'm going to see if I can slow this down so you can see every single fixed gobo. So this is every single fixed gobo on this fixture. Alright, so that's gobo wheel 1. Those are your static gobos. Now here are your gobos that rotate. So there's open, obviously. Here's a gobo. We are gonna obviously have to focus this again because you can't see what kind of gobo that is. All right. This also has a 16-bit focus, so you can actually get the focus really well on this, because it does have a fine focus and a regular focus. So I thought that was pretty cool. So a 16-bit linear focus system on this. I'm going to go back to our gobos so we can see. So there's one. These are the rotating gobos, which basically means these gobos are capable of rotating on their own. I like this one. It reminds me of bubbles or glitter. We have some sort of stylized symbol there, triangle symbol. This one I call a fan. I like this one, is really trippy when it's rotating. It looks really cool. This is the only glass gobo that's included with this, because this has interchangeable slot and lock gobos, which means you can pull a gobo out if you don't want it and put any one you do want in it. But they do include one glass one, and this one I call like a fractal or a water breakup gobo, and it's very versatile. So you can actually use it for several different effects or looks. So I was kind of glad that they included something like that. And of course you can do the shaking. So each of these rotating gobos can obviously shake and can also go through clockwise and counterclockwise all the gobos that are available. Now I'm going to show you guys what they look like when they rotate. So we'll use this one as an example, and they look pretty cool rotating. You can also slow the speed, obviously, of the rotation, and they can rotate clockwise and like this, counterclockwise. And you can also very specifically just rotate it statically. So whatever you rotate, it'll stop. That's what I'm doing right now. So there's a lot of options for the rotating gobos. And there's also a fine gobo rotation channel. So you can, it's also a 16-bit. Basically, so gobo rotation, you can do a fine rotate on it. It has two prisms. Each one is capable of also rotating, so they each have their own rotation channel. This is prism 1. Now this is obviously the vertical. So there's 4 patterns stacked vertically, but you can rotate it too, so it can actually be stacked horizontally too if you wanted, but they're always going to be in a fixed line. So I think that one's pretty cool. And prism 2 is the one that I said is shaped like the dots on dice. So 1, 2, 3, 4. That's how it stacks the gobos. So this one isn't straight, it's doing a spread, which is good for like wash effects and stuff. This one can also obviously rotate, so there it is rotating, and you can control the speed of the rotation too. And as I had stated earlier, you can stack these. So here's prism 1 and prism 2 stacked. It makes a crazy looking breakup pattern. So very versatile for creating different looks. Here is the frost. And I just activated it, and so it blurred out my gobo into basically a wash. So you can blur your gobos out with this frost filter. It makes for like a really nice looking wash, basically, is what you'd use a frost for. Like I had stated, this can zoom. So that's it as at its smallest point or beam angle. And this is it at its widest beam angle. So if we go to the smallest beam angle, and I obviously have to, again, refocus, but so this is it at its smallest beam angle. And then, like I had shown you, this is the zoom, and this is its largest beam angle. So zoom comes on more expensive light fixtures. You can sometimes find on cheaper ones, but it's more for expensive light fixtures, because an entire glass element, a separate one, has to actually travel and move inside of the light fixture. Channel 26 on this is your reset, which is pretty typical for certain moving heads. And the reset allows you to reset the light fixture from your light console. So that's not anything too crazy, but that's channel 26 on this. Let's go ahead and look at the colors with Gobo. So this is cyan, and it makes a very nice blue color. Like, it's almost a sky blue. It's very pretty. It's something people can't usually get with an RGB light system. Here's your magenta, and the very deep dark magenta, as well as really pretty like bubblegum pink colors, and like an Easter pastel pink color you can get with your magenta channel. They look very nice. And here's yellow. The yellow is very saturated and rich looking. You can't really get this color yellow with an RGB system. It looks very nice compared to an RGB system. And so what happens if we mix cyan and magenta? You get a UV color, so it's almost like you have an ultraviolet blue, which is a very interesting look. And like I said, you can mix channels, so I'm actually mixing magenta and cyan and making very interesting blue colors. And we can do yellow and maybe mix magenta with yellow, and that's going to give you a really nice red color, as well as oranges. If you mix magenta and yellow together and you take away some of the magenta, you can get some oranges that you will never see on an RGB system. They're very pretty oranges. And then of course we can take out yellow and bring up magenta to full, and Actually, what we can do is we're going to take out magenta. I want to show you the green in this, so we're going to mix cyan and yellow together. And it makes a very interesting green that you're not going to see again on RGB systems, as well as different very interesting teal colors that you're never going to see on an RGB system in that specific hue and saturation. So there are perks to having a CMY color space. This being one of them, obviously, but in an RGB system, you're going to be able to mix many more colors than you can in a CMY system. You can almost mix a lot, or like a really pretty lime green, like I have here, if you mix cyan and yellow. Obviously, the drawback of a CMY color system is the more you stack, the less light output you're going to get. So, depending on how many filters you have at one time, the light is going to be dimmer. So if you have cyan, magenta, and yellow all up, you're actually going to have black light, which I'll show you right now. So I have my yellow up, my magenta up, and my cyan. And this is considered a black light. And we're not talking about UV, we're talking about as in no light output, because CMY is a subtractive color system, whereas RGB is an additive. But anyways, that's it for what this light's capable of displaying. We're going to go ahead and cut back over to the fixture so we can kind of see some other features of this light and some close-ups on it. And then we're going to wrap it up. I wanted to touch base on the front element of this BECEN 400W beam spot wash. The front element is rather large. I mean, in terms of a light fixture, it's a rather large front element, and it's also glass. This isn't plastic. It also is treated to allow the best color reproduction that this fixture is capable of reproducing. And it's not the only element built into this light fixture. Like I stated, this is a zoom moving head, so there is another glass element inside that zooms forwards and backwards, and that is controlling your beam angle. So the spread of your light beam is being controlled as well with the glass element. There is also a magnifying glass element that is above the 400-watt LED light, and it kind of concentrates all of the light through it. So there's several glass optics or elements on this system, which is part of the build quality for part 2 of this review. And as far as build quality goes, a lot of this fixture is plastic. This is like not on the higher end of the spectrum as far as cost goes, because some of these fixtures range between $4,000 and $8,000, and this one is well below $2,000. So that's pretty typical to see both plastic and metal combine. So there are elements of this fixture that are metal, and there is most of the body is plastic. So you can keep that in mind, that this is not metal, this is plastic, 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 plastic. There are some metal elements. You can see one right there underneath the fixture. And so build quality wise, these do come in okay condition. They do have some minor scratches on them being brand new. So the quality control is just okay with these. From BECEN or BECEN. I'm probably butchering their name, but I'm well known for that. You do get carrying handles on either side. They are also plastic, at least they feel plastic. On either side is an inlet and an outlet for airflow to cool down the motherboard inside here. So the motherboard's down in here, as well as the power supply is down in here, and it needs to be cooled. So most of the sound you're hearing right now is that, and not from the actual fan in the light engine. Like I had stated before, and we're going to go ahead and go into shaky camera mode, which is what I like to call where I take this off the tripod so you can actually get a better view. There's a inlet, sucks in fresh air and blows it over the control board to keep it cool. And I did want to show you guys these because these don't always come on moving head fixtures. These are the brakes, I like to call them. But basically you can engage these, and this particular one will lock your tilt. And then there's one on this side right there, and that locks your pan. So your fixture won't move during transit. Get a nice view of the front element. And a nice view, close-up of your touchscreen. And down below, this fixture can be hung upside down, or it can stand on its own like it's doing now, and it has little rubber feet so they don't scratch or mar surfaces. So it also helps with, believe it or not, noise dampening. As always, I appreciate you guys for following my channel at TheatricallyJerry, and if you haven't yet, please subscribe in the link below. You can also comment on this video. I answer all questions about this fixture or just questions in general. I'll answer them. You can also like this video if you enjoyed it, if it gave you any more knowledge than you had before you started.